Hello everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Destiny video. My first draft with Way of the Force is in the books. I'm going to show you the deck that I played. Didn't do amazingly well, I went 1 and 2, but got some really good cards out of it. So we have 30 points here, we have 3 dice, 30 cards for some reason. So in draft you're allowed to use as many of a card that you open that is possible. So I have 1 card where I actually have 3 of it, but on the deck builder here you can only go up to 2. But let's look at our deck here. So we have Anakin at 10 points. So 2 melee for a resource, shield, resource special blank. Can't have Darth Vader on your team. And discard a hero card from your hand to give a character 2 shields, or discard a villain card from your hand to deal 2 damage to a character. We paired him with Lobot. So again, 10 points. 9 health. Anakin has 10. I should have mentioned that earlier. 1 range, focus, shield, resource special blank. And while you control the battlefield, this character has the Guardian keyword. Special, resolve one of your dice, increasing its value by 2. And finally, we had Cassian. So Cassian Andor, we had him at 10 points, 10 health, 1 range, 2 range, discard, resource, blank. After you resolve this die, you may deal 1 indirect damage to an opponent, or discard the top card of a deck. So into our upgrades, we had the crafted lightsaber. So 2 resources, you can only play it on an exhausted character. 2 melee for a resource, plus 3 melee, resource blank. We had the Fifth Brother's lightsaber, so plus 1 melee, plus 2 melee, plus 3 melee, shield, plus 1 resource blank. And while this upgrade is on the Fifth Brother, you may resolve the die showing modified sides as if they were not modified. We didn't have Fifth Brother, so we are just using this as the modified sides. And after you resolve this die, you may deal 1 damage to a character. We had the supply pack, 1 cost, action, exhaust this upgrade to reroll any number of your attached character or upgrade dice. We had the T21 repeating blaster, 3 cost, 2 range, plus 2 range, disrupt, resource, special 4A resource and blank. Special deal 2 damage to a character. You may then reroll this die instead of removing it from your pool. We have the Verpine sniper rifle, 2 cost, 2 range for a resource, plus 2 range, focus, resource, special blank. Special deal 2 unblockable damage to a character. And finally, we had Vibro Sword. So 3 cost, 1 melee, 3 melee for a resource, plus 2 melee, discard a resource blank, it has redeploy. So I didn't get a whole lot of dice cards, so I ended up opening, total, I think I drafted some Bulba, as well as the, Jedi Sentinel. I ended up not using them. And then some of the other stuff I ended up not really being great. So into our supports, we have Bespin Wingguard, 1 resource, action, exhaust this support and spend the resource to force an opponent to choose and discard a card from their hand. We have the Fang Fighter, so 3 resources, 2 range, 3 range, discard, shield, resource blank, it has ambush. And finally, we have Streetwise. So 1 cost, before you play a yellow event, you may exhaust this support to decrease its cost by 1. And into our events, we had 1 by any means, 1 cost, remove a die showing a value of 2 or more, then deal 1 indirect damage to yourself. We had 1 clandestine operation, spot 2 yellow characters or Cassian to resolve any number of your dice showing the same symbol, then discard cards on the top of the deck equal to the number of dice you just resolved. We have 1 emulate, so 0 cost, turn a character die to any side if there are 2 or more copies of that character in play. So really good in draft because a lot of people are going to be running similar characters such as Anakin. And I think almost every deck I played against was running Anakin tonight, I think. We have 1 extract, so 0 cost. Choose up to 3 cards in a discard pile and set them aside. We have 1 grand entrance, 1 resource. Activate 1 of your characters, reroll any number of its character and upgrade dice, then reroll any number of its character and upgrade dice. This did really well for me, so I used it on Anakin. I think he had the I think I either had the Vibro Sword and the Fifth Brother Saber on him. So I paid 1, rolled him in, and then was able to re-roll his dice twice. So I ended up getting 5 damage out of Anakin. Actually, wait, it was 5. I think it ended up being 7. So it was each 7 total damage rolled with that card. So Grand Entrance is really good. We have 1 hidden motive, 0 cost. Choose a symbol, then re-roll an opponent's die. If that die just rolled the chosen symbol, remove it. We had 1 mate to suffer, 1 resource. Each player discards cards at the top of their deck equal to the number of their dice showing a blank. Never really ended up using this because if you have blanks, you're going to start discarding cards as well. I use this to discard for a reroll occasionally. Um, for some reason, the website is calling this Natural Charm. It's actually Nature's Charm. But zero cost, neutral. Reroll up to 2 dice, yours or or an opponent. So sometimes I had a blank on my die, I reroll one of mine, and then I would reroll one of my opponent's dice that had a special or something like that. Okay, I had one peace and quiet. One cost, turn a die to a side showing a value of 0. Blanks and specials have a value of 0. We have one Rancorous. One cost, play only if you have one or more character dice showing a blank, remove a die. We had Shootout. I don't think I ever ended up using this. But 3 cost, hero. Turn up to 3 of an opponent's dice to side showing damage. Then turn an equal number of your dice to side showing damage. We have Sticky Situation, so 1 cost. Force an opponent to choose a die, then remove a different die. We have 1 Surprise Attack, so 1 cost. Resolve, Resolve one of your dice showing damage, increasing its value by 1. We have 1 Targeting Computer, so 1 cost. Turn a support or upgrade die to any side. We had Tinker, so 0. Turn one of your dice to a side showing a value of 1. We had Turn the Tide, so 2 cost. Move all shields from an opponent's character to one of your characters. I actually used this in one game. Moved all the shields off of their Anakin onto my Anakin. We have 1 Undermine, so 1 resource. Remove up to 2 dice showing a blank. We have 1 Way of the Light, 1 cost. Remove a non-hero die. Really good in draft because a lot of the it hits neutral characters as well. So I use it to remove an Anakin in one round. And finally, it says we have 2. We actually have 3 Well Armed. Choose a weapon from your hand, play it, decreasing the cost by number of weapons on one of your characters. So I was able to get this out for 1 and then drop the cost of 1 weapon by 2 at one point. So takeaways from this deck is Cassian's a lot of fun. I think he's going to be really good and constructed because I was able to discard cards and do indirect damage. The Fifth Brother's Lightsaber is pretty awesome too. So you get 1 damage guaranteed off of it whenever you resolve it. So after you resolve this die, you may deal 1 damage to a character. Worked well with Anakin because he has base damage and these are all modifiers. Even better when it's on the Fifth Brother. And then Grand Entrance is a lot of fun too. So was able to get a ton of damage out with Anakin using this. If you can use this with something like Swiftness, so play Swiftness, play Grand Entrance, roll your character in, reroll their dice, reroll the dice again, and then resolve them using giving Grand Entrance ambush. So this is my first draft. We actually drafted Keep What You Draft tonight, so I ended up walking away with Cassian and the lightsaber. So I got to open the lightsaber earlier and didn't open any Cassian, so now I have a single Cassian. I also opened, again, some Bulba and the Jedi Sentinel. Ended up not using them in my decks. But that's going to do it for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks.